Rincess play against Weather Painters. Please go check out that video. Um, so in this match, we've got me playing Firekings against Cassie playing Weather Painters, which she is really coming to enjoy. I think this was probably one of the most fun matches, games, duels, because it was a single duel, that I've played in a long time. Um, it just took so long. Um, and it was actually just really fun trying to play a deck that um, I haven't played in a really long time, especially with the new support. So I was slowly learning how they work and all that. And yeah, it was just a really fun duel. So let's go. Okay, so for those of you who don't know how Firekings work, so Firekings basically work on destroying themselves or using cards to destroy themselves to get different effects. So, for instance, the kind of the boss, Viking High Avatar Garunix can, during the next standby phase, it returns a special summons itself to the field, and then it destroys all monsters in the field except itself, which is pretty cool because if you've got other Firekings working around it, then you know you can get other effects off in the next standby phase, like Barong Searches, Avatar, Arvada. I think, yeah, this card is sent to the grave, so when it's sent to the grave, this one allows you to special summon. So there's just some really cool effects that the Firekings have. Yeah. Gonna have to keep on getting the next play. So I added Fireking Avatar Avada instead of Barong, so that was kind of like a, one of those, oh, I'm still learning the deck, I should have done that first. Now the reason you want to go for Arvada, especially if you're made to go first, is because Arvada is your negate. And then at least you can destroy one of the fire monsters in your hand. So in this case, if I'm going to negate something, I can destroy Avatar Garunix, and then Garunix will return during the next standby phase. It's just a really fun archetype, and it does really well with cards like True King, Nemazad, and any other cards that destroy from hand. I don't think this deck ever saw competitive play. And a bit of history with me with the deck is this was actually the first deck I took to a locals back in 2014. I think that was when Onslaught of Vikings, so it was before we had all the new support, and it was before I really learnt that you can't just take a sealed structure deck to a tournament and expect to do well, even the locals. So I think I won like one game out of 4 or whatever, and I think that was even just luck. So yeah, so this was one of the big decks in my history of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, so Cassie tried to do the bounce, I think, or was it the special summon? Anyway, and then I used Avatar Avada to negate. And then I was able to get 2 attacks off to do 3,600. Alright. It's actually really cool that the painters can play through all of these negates and all that, because they banish for cost, so it's at least they can still special summon themselves back. I mean, that's just like, I don't know, it's a very evasive deck, so it's very hard to get rid of the monsters because they're constantly banishing for cost. So obviously people will just pop the spell and trap, so then they can stop that, but it just makes the deck very interesting. She accidentally banished Rainbow Canvas instead of banishing the monster for the special summon. Um, and there was a lot of standby phase interactions, which was very interesting. So, obviously she got your special summon first, so she special summoned Cloud, and then mine came back, so then Garunix blew the field, but chaining to that, she banished for cost to special summon Sun, because Sun can at least special summon itself from the graveyard by swapping out a continuous continuous spell trap for a Weather Painter spell trap in hand. Alright, then I got Barong. I got Barong off Avatar being destroyed. Maybe Avatar being destroyed. Or Avatar. Anyway, next play. I think this is the most interactions I've seen in a match in the standby phases. And the amount of thought that had to go for each interaction. So she did the Sun special summon. Then what did I? Vela. I think I Velaed Sun, so she couldn't do the special summon with Sun. To banish to special summon. I think that was what I did. Or to banish to bounce a monster, because that was kind of the weakness for this deck the whole time, was that she could continuously use Thundery Canvas and then bounce my Firekings back to hand, which obviously they want to be destroyed for the effects to go off. And Barong, during the next standby phase after it was destroyed by card effect, it can add one Fireking card from your deck to your hand. So the deck just it's really fun and it's very simple. So it is a good deck for new players to play. It's just not super competitive, just because it's a turn too late, turn too slow in its plays. You gotta wait for the next standby phase. Things to go off. And then also the deck doesn't really have a preference for whether it wants to go first or second. I guess first, because then you can use Arvada as a negate if you have Arvada in your opening hand. But then also if you go second, so I guess it's it wants to play to the third turn and win on the third turn, so it's I don't know if we can call it a 2-turn knockout deck, if that can be a thing. Alright, so then, and the nice thing is you can integrate something like the Nephthys archetype, although it doesn't really work. The ritual monsters don't really work well enough with the deck, so having a pure Fireking and incorporating just a Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys works really well, because Nephthys does to the spell and traps what Garunix does to the monsters, which blows them up. So if you can destroy them both, Nephthys only comes back during your next standby phase, whereas Garunix is the next standby phase. If you go Garunix first and Nephthys, it's you clear the whole board with just 2 monsters. And it's just really cool. This is a really good interaction. Well, not really an interaction, but combo, idea, concept, whatever you want to term it. So I got Cassie in her special summon with Rainbow Canvas to go for Pain Aurora, because then at least she protects the back row. So she was initially going to go for, I think, Weather Painter Thunder or something, and there's but then if I am able to get Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys to recur and come back to the field, then I would blow your whole back row. And it's very important with Weather Painters to keep your continuous spell and traps, because that's what gives the cards their functions and the monsters their kind of immunability, because they banish for cost in a way. So it makes them immune, so it's you're target and then banish for cost, and then and then something like True King Amazon works really well in this deck because you get to destroy fire monsters and get the Fireking effects. I mean, then you go Circle of Firekings, so it's like destroy target one you control, destroy it, and then thing. And I forgot that Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys was only during your next standby phase, so I think there were a couple of times in this match that I special summoned. I was like, oh no, wait, I can't actually do that now. Never mind. Trace back what we just did. So then Cassie's able to get the kind of full board to blow up the monsters. She did a search. So a cool thing about Snowy Canvas is you can banish 2 for the cost of the effect, but you'll only get 1 search. So it's, once again, going back to that, the Weather Painters have ways to evade destruction, which is really cool. I mean, if they make another Weather Painter, they should think about doing the same thing for like the spell and traps. How can you like just make them evade for a turn and then come back? I don't know. I mean, are we gonna get another Weather Painter? What, we were supposed to get a red Weather Painter, but I don't think that makes sense because if you look at the attributes, all kind of covered. Yeah. It would be cool though if we got like maybe a Link 2 that did something really cool. So in your way to building up to Weather Painter Rainbow, you could generate a Link 2 and then I don't know. Maybe the Link 2 allows you to special summon 1 banished Weather Painter. That would be pretty cool, because then you can go Link 3 into Rainbow. It's just a quick way to generate Rainbow, which would be really nice. Yeah, see, like, I got Nephthys back, and I was like, wait, I can't get Nephthys back now, so it doesn't work that way. But as I said, this was a really long match. Well, actually a single duel. I think we would have gotten quite close to time. I think it took us about an hour to complete. But that obviously included discussing the rulings behind the different chains and all of that and what would happen in each situation. So there, during my standby phase, I was able to bring back Sacred Phoenix and Nephthys, blow the spell and trap cards before Aurora returned, and then at this point Cassie wanted to actually give up, and I said just continue playing, because in a long game, you know, if your spell and trap, so if you're playing a game like this, which is going to take a long time, especially with something like Weather Painters, a lot of the times your spell and trap cards would be destroyed, because generally people run at least Twin Twisters or card effects that allow you to destroy spell and traps. So then throughout the game, your spell and traps would be destroyed, and you know, you need to practice being able to recover from that. I mean, Weather Painters are so dependent on their spell and traps. So I said just try and play, because you know, you need to learn that if you lose all your spell and traps, it's not actually the end of the deck. The deck can still do things to regenerate those. It's like you just need to last a single turn and you'll be fine. So I went through and I did the attacks. I did a fair number of damage. I had to attack Cloud first, otherwise she'd be able to get the 2 of the spell and trap cards back face up on the field, which is quite cool. Cloud actually does well, just, I don't know, it's just late game. It's not really good. Cloud's not really good early game. And then I didn't want to destroy the Suns, because she'd be able to then do a special summon. Right, next play. So she was down to 1200 life points, which is not a lot. I mean, it's like if I just had a little bit more to find the attack. Yeah, then normal summons snow. Snow brings out snowy canvas. Link for there being a rainbow. Pop Valhalla to special summon sun, and then Thundery Canvas can be played from hand with a swap, and then Valhalla. And the cool thing about Valhalla is it's a soft once per turn, so each one is treated as a separate, because it's not like you can only use the effect of Valhalla once per turn. So if you play a new Valhalla, that was something I learned, I think, in this match. I was like, you can use Valhalla again. I did a card ruling thing. I quickly went to the wiki and I was like, hey, let me just check out something. It's like this. That's pretty cool. That just adds a bit consistency or a bit more to the deck. So if you want to like play a Valhalla and then you special summon Thunder, pop it, banish to search, and you got another Valhalla in hand, you can play that Valhalla and then get another special summon and do some more. So there's just things that you can do now without being able to play more Valhalla. I think that was. I did Circle of Firekings. Then she negated that. Then she attacked, did 600. I mean, I could have done Arvada as a negate, I think. Why didn't I do that? I don't know. And then like the jewel kind of flipped on its head. At no point, I couldn't find a point where I could do enough damage to actually take the game. So if I just skip through, I mean, I did some things. Got Barong. Oh, she banished to negate the special summon, which is another cool side effect of with it being a rainbow. So she could banish, negate. Then attacks. Okay, no, she did a search first, then got that, then played that, then I think she normal. Okay, no, she was able to special summon because of rainbow canvas. Yeah, she went for snow. Then she went thunder, attacked, bounce mine to hand, snow. Yeah. I tried a lot here. So one thing I could have done at this point was using the nine-tailed fox, to destroy it. So this is actually a really nice tech card. Because it works well in the Firekings, because when it's destroyed, my battle card effect is sent to the grave. I can special summon 2 fox tokens, and then make a link 2, which in the case here, so generating the tokens, and then I was able to link to, okay, I didn't stock up the extra deck because I was not sure what I wanted to play. I guess I should have just added things. So she generated another into rainbow. Yeah, then she attacked. I mean, I could have, if I had some link 3s, I could have maybe generated like a Trispana or something of that nature. Is it Trispana? Trispana is the link 4. Is it? No, Trispana is the link 3. Anyway. So I could have done a bit more, but from this point I lost the match. I think I even tried to think like there was 1600 left. I was like, what can I do? And then she went main phase 2, generated the second pane of rainbow, and from here, I mean, she's got 1 negate. Now, even if I was like, I'm going to use Fireking Island, you can only use it once per turn, so I wouldn't be able to play my second one and play that one. So I think that was it. And at this point, I surrendered. Tried my best to think it through, but it didn't work. There's nothing more I could do. Because then I had to explain that you don't have to actually do that. You can either choose to negate the destruction or banish your other rainbow to negate the special summon. I mean, I guess against a rogue deck, the weather painters do really well. So, I mean, a deck of equal class. I mean, obviously, playing weather painters against something like Sky Strikers, Thunder Dragons, Spiral, they don't do as well. But yeah, they do very well against a deck of equal class. So yeah, and then I did a bit of a thing. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna give myself however much life points that was, 1 million by the looks of it, and then yeah, subtracted whatever. Anyway, so that was that friendly match. It was a really really long match, but also very fun because of the different interactions. I mean, there were some misplays and some things that I maybe should have done differently. So like I kind of used up all three of my Arvadas way too early, so I had no way to generate any more negates or anything of that nature. So in terms of the long play, so that's why Vikings don't do well in the long play. So that's why you kind of want to, if you go first, you want to go first with the knowledge that in your next turn you're gonna be able to OTK, because with Garunix and Secret Phoenix of Nephthys returning, and then blowing the board, and you can attack and then find somewhere else to get attack. Yeah, because they don't really do well long game. But it's a really fun deck to try, so give it a try. If you're looking for a new deck, it is rogue by classification, by play style, by performance. So don't expect it to like top regionals and all that, but you would have fun with it. And I mean, you could probably tweak it enough to get it to perform at high competitive levels. Okay, so thank you for watching, if you stayed all the way through this. Please hit the like button if you want to see more of these. I'll do more friendly matches like this as I go on, because I like trying different decks. So probably if I do another one soon, it'll probably be either Valkyries or Rockets. I've been looking at Rockets. I talk quite a bit about Rockets. I like a lot of fast-paced decks, because just the way that people come up with ideas of how they're gonna work, with Dragon Link and all that, and also zombies in their time. With the vampires, it could also swarm. Gookie, also a very good combo deck in its time. And Salamangrates at the moment. So just decks that can do lots of quick plays. Those are really fun for me. I really enjoy playing them. So as usual, any comments about rulings or whatever, something that I might have done wrong, please put so in the comments. It helps for later games, so then I know. I do try and play most of these decks on an automated system before, so I understand a lot of how the decks work. I mean, the nice thing about Dueling Book is you can make mistakes without it being detrimental. So if someone accidentally plays a card, they can take it back and be like, sorry, I wasn't meant to play that, I accidentally clicked. That's the great thing about Dueling Book. But also Dueling Book, you're required to do all the rulings and make sure you know what each card does. So that's why I use automated systems before, like Wygo Pro, just to test out the deck, to make sure I know that if I'm going to say that this happens in this is the chain order, at least I've got some verification that that is the correct play. Yeah, please hit the subscribe button for more. I'm going to try and do these as frequently as possible. Maybe try and do like, I don't know, one every 2 or 3 days at least. I mean, with the leagues, those will obviously be more frequent. And I do play matches kind of like every night or whatever, so I'll probably put more and more as I go through. And I'll try and encourage my opponent. Most of the time will be Cassie, but I will try and encourage her to play some different decks as well. I'm going to get her to learn for hires, so look forward to that. Yeah. See you guys next time. Cheers.